5 minutes go by and it begins to subside. So, the genius that I am, I figured out it must be the cigarettes. So now I have a carton of cigarettes. I will not smoke ever again. But on the other hand, there are people who are addicted to cigarettes. Therefore, I have something to sell. The opposite of cigarette is chocolate. Shall I admit to you? When I see dark chocolate, my nose begins to run. I begin to shake. I have a witness here. We were in the restaurant today at lunchtime, and in the menu is this chocolate thing, hot chocolate thing, with ice cream, which is covered with chocolate. I should eat it. But we did. So here I am, I'm alive. I'm gaining weight, my uniform almost fits, my hair begins to grow. I'm almost human. But I realize that I'm alone. I'm 15 years old, alone. I have no idea what to do. Where shall I go? And the war is over. On May 8, 1945, the war in Europe was over. And slowly, after a week or 2 or 3, the transportation becomes available, and the American Army says to us, guys, you have to decide where you want to go. I met a friend from my town. I said, why don't we go back to our village? Go back to the village. If anybody else is alive, they'll go there too. And so I decided to do that, and through a whole bunch of series of trucks and trains and walking, I get to the village 3 days later. First person I see. Did anybody from the Roth family come back? And he says, yeah. Where? He points to us. Run over to the house, out of breath, open up the door, and there's my mother. Aww. I say, hi, Mom. My mother wasn't quite so cool. She fainted. My mother and father both survived.
Spark of hope now.
I'll tell you in a minute how. My mother and father, as I told you, went to Budapest, the capital. My father got a job. And the Jews of Hungary are being shipped out. And Budapest is the place where the last 200,000 Jews are in Budapest. And they're beginning to ship them out. There are not enough trains. They take the Jews, bring them to the Danube River, and shoot them, and dump them into the Danube. About a month before my father gets very sick, he's in a coma. He's in a hospital, a non-Jewish hospital. And everybody tells my mother, he's going to die. The sooner the better. Because if he doesn't die, he'll be a vegetable. Imagine my mother's state. Kids are gone. My husband is in a coma. A night nurse comes in, looks at my mother, and she says, Mrs. Roth, I've been a nurse for a long time. It's possible for him to come out of a coma. The doctor said, pray that he died. She's saying it's possible. And it becomes her mission in life to try to bring this man back to life. Every single night she comes on duty. What does she do? She goes to my father's bed, adjusts his IV, makes sure that oxygen is flowing, and talks to him. He's in a coma, but she talks. She touches him, she pinches him. He responds. Night after night after night. But she is not giving up. And one night she is doing this, she's talking to him, and suddenly she sees that he's His lips are moving. At first she thought it was just a reflex. But then she hears. He's actually saying something. He says, how long have I been asleep? Miracle. My father comes to out of a deep coma. Then a few days later, he can eat, he can feed himself, he can walk, and now he's being discharged from the hospital. But the Jews of Budapest are being shot. This wonderful night nurse, a Seventh-day Adventist Christian woman, tells my parents, you can hide in my one-bedroom apartment. She doesn't live there alone. She has a daughter who is married, has a child. The husband, however, is not at home. He is in the Hungarian Nazi army. It's a war. He's a young man, 25 years old. They manage to get there. Police come to look for Jews, they don't find them. Civilian Nazis come and look for Jews, they don't find them. One night there's a knock on the door. They immediately get into their hiding place, which is a closet about yay by yay. It's the husband. The Nazi soldier comes home for 3 days. And they're hiding 2 Jews. At this point, as my mother tells this story, I'm like, so what happened? She says, well, the wife, of course, hugged them and kissed them and so happy to see him. He's not wounded, all that stuff, and he's home for 3 days. And so she sort of tells them about these 2 people who are living with us. They're actually hiding here. And they're not really relatives. Like, you can't tell anybody, because if you do, you'll be shot. I mean, this is a dangerous moment. So I said, so what happened? Well, she also told them that, you love me? You want to be with me tonight? You'll keep your big mouth shut.